Alright, this is how to install the switch light illumination harness. So first thing you want to do is make sure your cart is off, and we just take the keys out to make sure that it's for sure off. Sometimes you'll have a screw in each one of these. Some carts don't, but that'd be the first thing you'd take out, and then you could pull the dash out. And then in this case, we already got the harness all ready to go, but you'll follow your USB connection down, and it'll come usually to a white or a black or gray plug. You unplug it, and you'll plug in the harness between the two wires. You can only plug it in one way. You might need like a flathead screwdriver or a small something to kind of like unclip this little pin down here. We use a little flathead screwdriver and that works pretty good. But once you unclip the USB, you can plug in the harness, and that's going to give you the power for all the lights. And then when you're plugging in these little, each one of these things, there's a little tab that sticks up, and you just want to make sure they line up with the tab that's in the slots. So we're going to show you which sides to put it into. So we're starting with the red, and on both of these two, they're going to go in the same spots. They're both going to go on this side, which is towards the steering wheel. He's just making sure that the pins are fitting in, and when you stick it in, you'll feel a little click. You might even hear it too. And while you're doing this, you don't want to test them until you have them all in, because with all these little loose connections floating around, you don't want to short anything out. Alright, so that's the two switches. And then on the harness, you're going to also notice two that have a little either a heat shrink connector on it, and those are just two extra things to install any accessories that you can install underglow onto those or whatnot. And then here's these ones are easier to know because the wires are all on one side. Alright, and then you pretty much just push it in until you hear that little click. And it's going to be one red and one blue for each switch that you're lighting up. And you can always give it a little tug too to make sure that they're in, but once you hear that click, you're good to go. Usually. And then both switches are in the same spot. And your color wires might be different, but it's usually just kind of position you're going off of. This is the one that's in the bottom of the dash. And I'll have some pictures of how these go in there. And once you have everything hooked up, you can go ahead and take your keys, put it back in, and let's see if these switches light up now. And everything lights up, and we're good to go. And then you can just put that dash back in, put your two screws in if you had them, and you're all set.